Okay, welcome to the first ever Okay, Not Okay wrestling podcast, where either myself, Dr. Okay, or the SportsZu will occasionally show up to share one of our insights into all the latest happenings in the WWE. However, today we're going to give you a special treat. Both of us are going to draft just like in night one of the WWE Draft that just happened on Friday night. So, SportsZu, do you have anything to say for yourself? Doc, I don't know how I let you pick the name of this podcast because being the not okay part of the name is not very okay. Anyways, I'm going to whip you in this draft and then it won't even matter. I'm going to sit here with one sheet of paper and I will beat you anyways, while I'm sure you're devouring the stats, looking it up online, and it just won't matter. This is all mine. I don't know about that, SportsZu. I think I'm going to take this one home. I know I'm going to have a bunch of winners, and we're going to have the best brand Monday Night Raw as we head into the new Netflix era coming up in January. We're going to have the best roster. Here we go. SportsZu, why don't you tell them the rules? So here are the rules. It'll basically be the same as what we actually saw on Smackdown on Friday. They only showed 4 rounds of the draft on TV, but then afterwards they selected the final 5 individuals or teams for the 2 respective brands. SmackDown will continue to go first and alternate, and since there were an odd number of picks and because Raw is a longer show, the very last pick will also go to Raw as well. Okay, great. I mean, that sounds pretty fair to me. And even though this is my podcast, you're the SmackDown representative, I'm the Raw representative. So in this podcast, you're going to go first. Why don't you kick it off with the first pick? So the first pick for me is an easy one. I don't know how this person dropped so far on Friday night, but with the first overall pick of night 1 of the draft, SmackDown selects Seth freaking Rollins. And I don't know how you couldn't pick him. He's a multi-time Grand Slam champion. He just held the World Heavyweight title for over 300 days. And, he was hurt a little bit, but I don't foresee him missing much more time after Backlash. I can see him coming back right away and being ready to go and get a title back. So for me, I think having him have a chance to battle his new buddy, Cody Rhodes, again for the WWE Championship is definitely the way to go. So easy first pick. Okay, strong pick off the bat, and of course it would be hard to mess it up. Seth Rollins is a great pick, but I will do the same thing that we actually saw on Friday night. So with the second pick of the WWE Draft, Raw selects the EST Bianca Belair. Now Bianca, as always, she just wins. She is 3-0 in one-on-one matches this year, and she is 5-2 overall, which of course those include the only 2 losses were in the Rumble and at the Elimination Chamber. So yeah, Bianca just wins. She's going to renew her rivalry with Becky right after Backlash, and we're going to see who can take home the championship at King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. So let's see how that goes. Back to you, SportsZu, for the next pick. All right, I'll give you props there. Okay, that was the only other person I had even considered for the first overall pick, and obviously she went first on Friday night. Anyways, with the third overall pick of the draft, I'll still go with a rather easy one. He is the Legend Killer, 13-time world champion, the Viper, Randy Orton. He looks in top form as he's ever been now. I definitely could see him challenging Rhodes right away for the title. Should be a great match there. And if nothing else, he and Kevin Owens seem to be friends and they can win a tag team championship. So I don't see any issues there. And of course, he still has a bone to pick with Logan Paul. This guy really has any route he could go for 2024. Oh, okay, great pick. Can't argue that, of course. I'm going to go a little different direction, pretty much what Raw did. They took him first. I'm taking him second. So with the 4th overall pick, Raw selects main event Jey Uso. He did just have a big WrestleMania win against his brother, and he is the current #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. So we've got to keep him here. So, you know, he's amazing. 5-2 in one-on-one action, 8-3 overall in 2024. We've got to keep him on the red brand, and we'll see if he can take down Priest and become our next World Heavyweight Champion. So, back to you, SportsZu. I know, he does have a great individual record, but he still has no titles. But I guess I'm going to do the same thing. So, for the 5th overall pick, Smackdown selects L.A. Knight. Yeah, I mean, this guy has been on a roll. He had the big win over Styles at WrestleMania. And even though he lost this time, I could see him jumping right back in to being the #1 contender after Backlash. Yeah, he has been good, but I'm going to go with a guy that's been even better than LA Knight. So with the 6th overall selection, Raw selects Andrade. He is 3-0 in one-on-one action, 5-1 overall. He got a win at WrestleMania. He's ready to step it up to at least challenge for the IC title. If not, he might be one of the very next contenders to go for the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, I think that might be a little early there, Doc, but fine. I mean, he does have a good record, and he's a former champ, so alright, well, whatever. Anyway, with the 7th overall pick, SmackDown selects The Bloodline. And yes, I know Roman Reigns does not count there, but I have no doubt he will be rejoining the Bloodline whenever he decides to come back. And so I've got to make sure those guys stick together. So, easy 3rd pick for me, it's the Bloodline. Oh, come on. We know Roman Reigns is never going to show up. I'm not even worried about that. He's done. He can't win anyways. It just doesn't matter. I don't want Roman Reigns anywhere near the red brand. You could have picked the Bloodline 3 rounds from now. It wouldn't have mattered. I wasn't taking him. Anyways, I'm going to go with someone who has been a winner recently. So with the 8th overall pick, Raw selects Ricochet. He is 3-0 in one-on-one matches. I mean, you can't do any better than that. He's 4-4 in all matches this year, and he's just electrifying to see in the ring. There's no one quite like Ricochet. He's going to win. I can see him taking the championship back from Sami Zayn just like he did a few years ago. That could be another great rekindled rivalry. Looking forward to it. Man, I don't know. I think that one's a reach there too, Doc. So I guess that leaves it to me. I'm in the 4th round. Amazingly, I just don't know how this guy keeps dropping, but I'll take advantage. Your current #1 contender for the WWE Championship, the phenomenal AJ Styles. I think he's ready to, turn it on again in 2024. 2023 was not his best year, but he is still phenomenal. Yeah, he is phenomenal, but I just couldn't risk taking him. If he beats Cody Rhodes at Backlash, he'd be right back on SmackDown anyways. So AJ Styles just isn't that worth that much to me on the red brand. So with that being said, we're going to go with the 10th overall pick. We're selecting Nia Jax. She is one of the few winners in the women's division that's not currently a champion. She is 3-2 in one-on-one matches and 3-4 overall. We know one of her losses was in Australia. That wasn't particularly fair. We know she is out to squash everyone. I want her to get another shot at Becky, and I think she can win that title back. So we'll see. I like where my women's division is headed right now. I had a feeling you were going to go that route, and I'm taking advantage of your strategy. So with the 11th overall pick, I will take Liv Morgan. Yeah. I know you're going to say she doesn't win anything, and she got Rhea injured. But man, she's still a former champion, and she is great. I don't know what else to say. You've got to love having Liv Morgan on your roster. So she's coming to SmackDown. Yeah, you're right. I definitely was not taking Liv Morgan anytime soon. You probably could have waited a couple more rounds. She just loses. She needs to find a way to get over the hump before I'm taking her. She just gets second place in every match. And for most one-on-one matches, that's a loser. For these multi-purpose matches, still a loser. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I'm turning the page on that. We're going to someone who just wins quickly, wins powerfully, and with authority. 12th overall pick, Raw selects Braun Breaker. Yes, Braun, he is the brightest new star, and he wins. He was so successful in NXT, one of the most accomplished wrestlers of all time, and since hitting the main roster, he is 3-0. His only loss of the year was at the Royal Rumble, and even then, he looked really impressive getting Omos and several others out. I mean, Pat McAfee didn't even want to get touched. Braun Breaker, he's going to quickly be an IC contender, if not a World Heavyweight contender for the Red Brand if he goes to Raw. Ooh, that's a good pick there, Doc. I think I could have gone there if you hadn't picked him, so I will do the next best thing and pick the other big NXT star, and I will go with Carmelo Hayes. And, you know, he's not done well on the main roster, but you can clearly see that WWE is positioning him to be a big star here very soon. So, for me, I think we're getting a nice discount, and I'll be excited for what's to come from him in the near future. I don't know. I don't like that one, SportsZu. I mean, Carmelo Hayes just loses on the main roster. Sometimes skills don't translate from NXT to the main roster. He very well could be one of those. He was very successful in NXT, but I mean, he's been struggling there too recently, losing to Trick Williams 2 times in a row. So, I don't know. He needs to show me something first before I'm going to spend a decent pick on him. So, for us, the 14th pick of the draft, Raw selects Shayna Baszler. She's a multi-time women's tag team champion, and I really think she can do it again. And heck, she could go right back to battling for a singles women's championship as well. So I really think I'm getting good value with Shayna Baszler. She has been 0-1 in singles action, but is 6-1 in tag team action. I think Shayna's looking pretty good. Okay, that's a good solid pick, and I bet I know that means you're going to go very similarly for your next pick, but I'm not going to steal that pick from you, and I will instead go with a former multi-time heavyweight champion and take the returning Sheamus. He's looked good so far, and we know he can win. WWE always likes him, more than maybe the fans seem to like him at times, but he's still a very solid veteran, so I'm taking Sheamus. Okay, I get it. And yes, you're probably right. I am selecting with the 16th pick of the draft, Raw selects Zoe Stark. I know it sounds crazy, but she has the exact same record as Shayna Baszler. I want those two to get another shot at the tag team championships. Yes, they lost once to the Kabuki Warriors, but that was their only loss of 2024. I think they can get right back into it and face either them or Jade and Bianca. However that goes, I'd like to see them keep going for that women's championship. And who knows, Zoe could be an up-and-comer in the singles division as well. Okay, we're into round 5, as WWE would call it. And that means that this would be a pick that is off the air. So this group actually got picked during Smackdown, and I'm going to take them here, the Alpha Academy. I think we're going to see some big things here from Chad Gable here in the next several months, and it never hurts to have some good, low card entertaining options with the other 3 members of the Alpha Academy. But if nothing else, they, keep showing up on TV. So availability is sometimes the best ability, and that is the Alpha Academy for sure. Oh, you're right. Alpha Academy was not on the radar even still for me. No. Instead, we're going back into the NXT ranks for our next selection. The Lone Wolf, Baron Corbin, is coming back to Raw. So with the 18th pick, Raw selects Baron Corbin. And yes, we've got Braun Breaker here too. We could immediately see some new tag team champions. And if not, he has already shown to be capable on the main roster. He's a Money in the Bank winner. He is a King of the Ring winner. We know he can do it. So, Baron Corbin, you've got a new lease of life for me on Raw. Oh, I was going to go that pick too. Good one there, Doc. I'm a little surprised that you went there. But okay, great. Well, based on my last pick, I'm going to do the exact same thing, and I, with the 19th pick, will take Ivar. Now, I know he's not included with the other 2 members of the Viking Raiders, but I feel very confident that if Eric is able to come back, that he and Valhalla will both be returning with them, and it'll be one big happy group again. So, Ivar's really a great hand. He shows up all the time. May not have the best results, but he's always a surefire hit to be on your show. So I like Ivar a lot. I think he is a nice value pick here late in the draft. Ooh, yeah, I think at this point in the draft, you're probably right. I think Ivar might have been my pick as well, but that's okay. With the 20th pick of the WWE Draft, Raw selects NXT's Kiana James. Now, I know we don't know a whole lot about Kiana as she spent her time in NXT, but she's been pretty good so far in 2022, accumulating a 5-2 overall record. So maybe that will translate to the main roster. All I know is that anybody that's left, they're not having any success. So for me, we've got to take a chance here on an NXT superstar. I think she could do all right. So we'll see. I'm not really sure, but at this point, it's worth the shot. Wow, I thought you might not pick her at all. Okay, that's fine. I guess I'm on my last pick, and then you'll have the final 2 after that. So, with the 21st pick? Yeah, 21st pick of night 1 of the draft, SmackDown selects the OC. It seems like Gallows and Anderson don't have a lot of interest in showing up these days, but they're still solid when they do actually appear. And it just wouldn't be right to not keep them with Styles on the same roster. But really, I just like what Michin does out there. So I'd get her more matches. I think she can win and, be pretty good in that women's division. So I think it's a good pick as my last pick. Okay, well, you might be right, you might not be right. I don't know. With that last pick, I don't think it matters too much. Regardless, no one's winning any matches out of these groups. So with the 22nd pick of the draft, Raw selects Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. I mean, they haven't won any matches, but at least they were NXT Tag Team Champions before Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler decided that they needed to combine those titles. But it's not been good for them on the main roster. That's all right. I mean, they're the next to last pick anyways, and we've got the last pick. So with the final pick and 23rd pick of the draft, Raw selects Cedric Alexander and Ashante the Adonis. I don't know if they can win at all on the main roster. They've barely been a team. They are 0-2 so far in 2024 combined. And I'm not really necessarily seeing any success coming from them, but who knows? Maybe they can find a way, get some synergy going and win a few tag team matches, and from there, who knows? So with that is our last selection of the draft. SportsZu, any final thoughts? Doc, I think I definitely crushed you here. I mean, I do have a big advantage by getting Cody Rhodes while you have Damian Priest. So it would be hard to lose. And then Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns will soon be joining me. And I feel really good about that. Really, really good. I may have a little work to do in the women's division on Raw, but we can do that. No problem. So with that, thanks much. I'll turn it back to you, Doc, to end it. All right, thanks, SportsZu. That'll do it from us here for night 1 of the draft. We'll be back later in the week to do the same thing for night 2 of the draft, but this time I'll get to go first. So I'm sure I'll win by even more next time. So for the SportsZu, I'm Dr. O'Kay, and this has been the OK, Not OK Wrestling Podcast.